more good fucking games. You need fans, and you still need to use Green Hill Zone. Like, come on, you don't see fucking Nintendo milking 1-1, but hey, we can be wrong there. If there's one thing I despise the absolute most in gaming communities, is how everyone seems to think they're entitled to their opinion. Now, okay, let me absolutely rephrase that. I said it all wrong. Let me rephrase it. I said it very wrong. I think gamers are acting a little too entitled these days. That when a company isn't doing what everyone else is, it's like suddenly they have to start crying about it, and it's like, oh yeah, do it. It's an industry standard. You can't be that different. You can't keep that out. We want it because we said so. And I think one of the perfect examples of this is Nintendo's voice chat. Like, to be honest, I'm someone who, who fucking owned a Wii U and owned a PS3. And I'm pretty sure the PS3 voice chat was god awful. So, me and my friend were using Skype ever since. We've been using Skype for like so long. We have like thousands of hours on Skype. So, we're still using Skype come the Wii U, no different. Wii U has no voice chat. People didn't complain about voice chat back then, so why are people complaining about it now? Oh, look at that Nintendo Switch. Oh, great. They want to make it competitive. No fucking voice chat, but who cares? Competitive esports are all about being right next to the person. So, come the Nintendo Switch app, come the Nintendo setup with the Splatoon headset thing, and everyone's just blowing a shitstorm. Why? Because two reasons. Because gamers are entitled these days to think that everyone should follow the same thing, aka normies, and because it's Nintendo. It's easy to harp on Nintendo than it is to harp on Sony and Microsoft. And the biggest reason for that is because Nintendo has a big role to fill. Because they are currently the only ones who give fucking passion in the gaming industry. Now that isn't to say other companies won't do that. I mean, take a look at Ubisoft. Take a look at Ubisoft. Makes a great looking game, Mario & Rabbids. Everyone doubted that, which I would blame them. It sounds like a fucking bad idea on paper, but hey, they fucking proved us wrong. And those guys deserve all the respect to be rightfully handed at them. See, when the PS4 and Xbox One came out, the launch library just wasn't good, and that's expected. The launch library is never good for a console. So when people were complaining about the launch library for the fucking Switch, you just need to have patience, man. Not a single console ever came out with a great launch library. So that's my point across when it comes to why gamers are way too entitled these days. They're able to voice their opinion onto a bigger social media site that makes them look like a bunch of crybabies. And it isn't just Nintendo fanboys, because I hate Nintendo fanboys, I hate Sony fanboys, and I hate the people who mention fanboys in that kind of manner. Like, oh, you're a nostalgia blonde. So whatever happened to having a proper argument, a counter argument? You're just gonna fucking say it's a fucking blind fanboy? But it is the internet, and the internet is where some people lack knowledge. And I more get the impression that sometimes the comment section is just filled with little children. I was driving to university when they started mentioning the new iPhone coming out. Like, what are we on now? Like iPhone 8, 9? Well, this guy was talking about it. He goes, it's $1,000. It costs $1,000. And I guess, and as he explained, the reason why they make the iPhone so expensive is that so that, when someone looks at the new iPhone, they'll most likely be turned away from it, and they'll more consider maybe the iPhone 6, the iPhone 7, and they drop the price on that, and that's how they make profit. Very good move. Now, the problem there is when people decide to buy the grand iPhone. Like, I think smartphones are like way getting overpriced, and because people are sucking dick to brands. Like, it's Apple, okay, but it's like one of the most restrictive OS I've ever seen. So, my point is, this guy's talking about the iPhone, mentions the price, mentions the new facial recognition, and I guess that's cool. and they said they're taking out the fingerprint scanner. Okay. So then he goes and talks about how there's always the two type of smartphone users. There's Apple and then there's the Droid. The Droid, and he goes, Apple people, they're like, oh yeah, you got a phone. Oh, that's cool. And Droid people are like, oh no, ew, iPhone. Now, as a person who used iPods and iPhones back then before I made the switch to Samsung, allow me to give you my opinion on why we act that way, and that's because when you have an Android, you have much more freedom into your customization. When it comes to iPhone, as I said, it's a very restrictive OS to the point that people need to jailbreak the damn thing in order to do just a simple function that a fucking Android can do. So, when someone with an iPhone comes to us and says Apple is better, doesn't get viruses on it, that's fucking false. First of all, because a Mac can get a virus. It has to be a very good one. So when someone with an iPhone comes to us and says it's better than Android, who doesn't know squat shit about Android and customization, but yet has that generic ringtone. How does it go? Something like that. Yeah, when someone because the thing is, an iPhone user compared to an Android user often reflects on someone's knowledge with technology. Yeah, an Android can get a virus. How do you not get a virus? Don't be a fucking dumbass and download APK files. Don't download apps from the internet. Simple. Don't be downloading stuff off the internet. Like, you'd have to go on some massive porn website and then be tricked to download some fucking WebXM player to get a virus. Like, be smart. Yeah, so the point is, it's like, I guess I'm stereotyping, but when someone owns an iPhone, it more than often means they don't know that much about technology. And when someone has an Android, you could just plug your phone into your PC and just transfer music like that. See, I don't have much beef with the iPhone, but the biggest beef of them all is the fucking iTunes. iTunes takes up a shit ton of RAM, and it updates every fucking time. And if you want a perfect example of how often that shit updates, take a look at, the Angry Video Games Nerd, the AVGN video on iTunes. Like, they just add stuff to it that's fucking useless. Am I going in circles? Well, yeah, that's my take on the phones. See, I don't care what kind of phone you use. Just don't come to me thinking you know some shit and say iPhone is better. No fucking way. Whoa. Liftoff. We have liftoff. When it comes to innovation in the gaming industry, Nintendo happens to do it right sometimes. Like the Switch. Hey, look, various ways to play it. You can plug it into your TV, you can take it on the go, you can hand off another controller to someone else. That is like the best couch co-op thing. And I miss couch co-op. I'm tired of fucking online games. Haha. As I said before, the PS4 has a good system for a lobby. Oh, the community center too. When you have a game, you press down and you see like the community, you see people's achievements. I think that's pretty cool. The PS4 SharePlay is awesome. Should be totally implemented into newer things, newer consoles and all that. I think PS4 also does streaming. a very helpful thing because not everyone wants to own a PC, and that's respectable. Not all of us have the money to go do that, so stream from the PS4. Hey, have some comfort. Okay, I remember Nintendo did mention the Switch was going to be doing that. Now, I think the one way they would be doing that is if they released a new version of the dock. Because, you know, who's going to record anything in a handheld when they're on a train? But I think one of the biggest things that the Switch has is if people are tech-wise, and if they decide to use, like, you know, hotspot to make like a